We are now joined by Jesse Williams here in studio. He is the producer of Hoops, Hopes, and Dreams. Jesse, welcome to Vibe Check. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
coming
it.
by.
So we just saw a little snippet of the film. We're so excited about this, and I love this concept. I love the approach that you took here because this film reveals a lesser-known strategy of the civil rights movement. It meets young people on the basketball courts.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. So what surprised you the most as you learned how intentional and strategic that approach actually was?
Well, I think from the outset, it was this idea that, did you know that Dr. King used to show up in a suit and some hard bottoms at local gyms and challenge kids to play basketball? And
Right.
that was his way, I think, both strategically and also just culturally to connect with younger folks and recruit and like actually spend time with people, hear what's happening and what people need and want, and also, you know, be in fellowship with the younger generation, and also just be a real person. We always see these people kind of on Mount Rushmore and in a black and white photo and a speech, but we don't see them at play. We don't see them like in between on their days off, and how they actually choose to spend their time, how they express themselves with humor and play. So that was something really interesting. And then finding a way in a narrative for a viewing audience to parallel that with Obama and basketball and what that meant to us, seeing a presidential candidate be like us and do things like us, and the role that plays and how it connects to us, and I think now, you know, any kind of connectivity we can be sharing in this chaotic world is helpful, and so we thought that was a great avenue to do this.
So you mentioned people at play, because normally when you think of movies or documentaries that focus on the civil rights movement, it's about the protesting, imagery of protesting, struggle, and this one is about joy, connection, community. Why was that so intentional to do?
I think for the reasons you're alluding to, I think we wanted to, you know, take these things down off a wall and breathe some life into them. And actually, what I think of now is we hear all these stories from Ambassador Andrew Young. He was the impetus to this film, which is directed by Glenn Kino, by the way. I'm a producer, but directed by Glenn. And but you're hearing the story about Dr. King hooping, but there's no footage of him doing it. So that could be a roadblock to telling a story. But we have found through animation, we did this really cool animation in a feature documentary we did about Tommy Smith in the '68 Olympics, and we found success with that, with using this kind of visual language to animate this great hero, this great black and white stoic hero, intellectual, you know, giant, balling with these kids, and being charming and smiling and being a real person. And he didn't know, he wasn't the Dr. King 50 years ago, he was 25 years old, 26 years old, trying to connect and be of service. And maybe y'all weren't at church, maybe you're not even really interested in so-called activism, but I am with you. I'm not up on a pulpit looking down on you. I'm actually, you know, being in real connection to people. And I think now, they couldn't predict this then, but now in the technological age where we're all behind a screen and we're having full exchanges with people without ever having to meet them or face them or listen to them in person, it's all the more important to tell stories around the value of human experience and exchange together.
Humanizes them in an important way. So I know you played baseball. That was a really important part of your identity growing up. What did you take from baseball that you applied today to your creative work or your activist work, whether it's a competitive nature, discipline? What have you pulled through?
Quite a lot, actually. Baseball was really integral to my life. It was also a great connector between me and my father. He loves baseball. But baseball is this beautiful balance between, it's a team sport, of course, but it's an individual sport. You're at different moments throughout the game, you are on your own. It is all you. And preparation meets opportunity in a game like that. And you know, my dad was on me about studying numbers, studying people's averages, how often did they hit left, I was a shortstop, how they hit left, hit right, up the middle, you know, playing shallow. And so really being able to be in the books, you have your mind to be alert and prepared, and also being able to exploit a moment. Because in baseball, you can get one great opportunity once in 5 games, in one game. So that pressure and not being able to get it right back. Basketball, I can make a mistake, they got 2, all right, my bad, let me get this back. Baseball, you might not get another opportunity. Soccer's like that as well. So I learned a great deal from both sports. I played basketball my whole life. And learned a great deal from that as well. And I think for basketball, you're it's a great connector because you're face to face in very close proximity with so many people at once. You're hearing each other, you're feeling each other you're not blocked by equipment and barriers and shifts. So basketball, I think for us, not only as it relates to strategic connection to people in the movement, or for Obama, us feeling like he's a human being and cool and one of us, it is the most connected sport. It really kind of brings everybody on literal and figurative equal playing field.
So speaking of baseball, you starred in Take Me Out on Broadway,
Yes.
a Tony Award-winning play that uses baseball to explore race, sexuality, and identity.
That's right.
Now, you've produced a film that drives the social change through basketball. So what is it about sports, our world, and yours obviously, that keeps sort of pulling you into these deeper cultural conversations?
That's a really good question. I hadn't set out to make it a pattern. I always look in my work in front of or behind the camera to have it be responsible, to hopefully be moving the needle forward, to be honoring our culture and people. But I hadn't set out to make sports central to it, but I do think, I grew up in many different communities and many different income and racial backdrops. But I always played sports. And my father would always use sports as a analogy or metaphor or representation for personal responsibility in a community that you've made a commitment to and having to follow through. And all of those, we can see how that would apply to real life. And it gives you a place to also have fun and challenge yourself and risk injury. Let's say anybody who crosses the 40-year-old line is familiar with that. Sometimes it's not what you plan to do, but it's what you do, and that tells a larger story. That's a very good point.
I saw Take Me Out on Broadway. Outstanding.
Oh, thank you so much.
When I
really
first moved to New York
appreciate you
City,
coming.
it's the first show I saw when I moved here.
Wow.
I was weeping in the audience. I was like, baseball's such a great connector.
It really honors baseball. If you think you hate baseball, you watch our play, you're going to be a baseball fan.
I'm from St. Louis. Baseball is life
word.
there.
Yeah.
I grew up a Cardinals fan, and I was like, I miss home. I love baseball. It was such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece of
I
art.
really appreciate you
Yes,
coming.
absolutely. Well, athletes today hear it all the time, stick to sports. People don't want them to infuse their opinions, their commentary outside of the field or the court, but Hoops, Hopes, and Dreams absolutely challenges that idea altogether. So what do you hope that viewers take away about the role of athletes and artists when it comes to social change and conversation?
Well, I think we have seen a pattern of increased openness, if not outright acceptance, for all of us to have and utilize a larger and wider reaching voice. I mean, with just social media alone, everybody has an opinion and has an observation, and things are less opaque and you can see real footage. And so everybody kind of is getting a little bit more of agency in their own voice, in their own lives. So I think that whether it's intended or otherwise, I'd like to think that the tide is rising on tolerating and understanding that everybody has a right to feel, think, say, and express how they're feeling. And maybe I'm not a master of that subject, but I know that doesn't feel right. And I know maybe I have a follow-up question about that, and we're entitled to that. Setting apart, there's obviously, anybody who's doing the shut up and dribble Megyn Kelly nonsense. They're not serious people. It's not a serious position. You don't apply that to John Wayne, who you love to have hear about his racist nonsense. We're very selective in our telling people who have been historically oppressed to be quiet, just in a different language or with different idioms. There's nothing new or really particularly interesting about that.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, before we let you go, we're going to play a little game. For those who do not know, Jesse is from Chicago.
That's right.
And his Chicago Bears are making quite the postseason run. Unfortunately for me as a Packers fan. I'm still hurting over that loss on Saturday. Kmart was there.
Guess I
we're going to
was.
play a game with you. We're calling it Which Williams. And we want you to listen to a quote and determine whether you or a character you've played have said it, or Chicago quarterback Caleb Williams. You have to tell us who said the quote. Are you ready?
This would sound like a really easy game for me.
Yes. So
but maybe or maybe it's I don't know what I'm saying.
You better bet 1,000 on this.
Yeah, that's right.
I say crazy stuff. All right.
Williams.
So I'm gonna start. The quote is, Honestly, it's really tough to stay in contact with anybody when you're constantly traveling.
Okay, that's kind of an everyman quote. That's you guys are clever with this. No, I'm gonna say maybe that was Caleb.
All right, so who's in your crew? And wildlife doesn't count.
Honestly, it's really tough to stay in contact with anybody when you're constantly traveling. Okay, all right. Now you open my. Okay, now I'm understanding the game.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
I mean, you playing a character, Jesse.
Got it. Okay, got it. Here
Okay,
we
next
go.
one. Now that you're
All right,
fully
now I
locked
understand.
in.
All right.
Here's
is
our
the
next
one.
quote for Jesse.
deep
Which
cuts.
Williams here? To be a great leader, you've got to learn how to follow first. You, a character, or Caleb Williams?
Character or Caleb Williams?
I'm gonna go Caleb on that.
To be a great leader, you got to learn how to follow first. So right now, I'm following all the vets, I'm following all the coaches, and I'm taking one step
I
at
was
a time
going
in
to
the
say,
moment.
that's your quarterback.
Yeah.
That's a franchise quarterback.
That's
quote.
a franchise quarterback right there. Okay, next one. I don't own a single thing sold by Gucci, and I have several sturdy gym bags.
That's so random. And what was the question? That was probably me. That sounds like something I would say, non sequitur. I don't own a single thing sold by Gucci. Yeah. Not one, and I have several sturdy gym bags. In case you were
Okay, you're
Gym
getting
bag
better.
sale.
Euphemism? Is that a sturdy gym bag like a euphemism for
I
something
wasn't
else?
sure.
don't
Wait,
know.
I don't
like,
know.
you tell
Poetic.
us.
Yes,
All
Gucci
right.
making gym bags? What's going on? All right, last one, Jesse. Here is our quote. Pure belief, that's all you need. You don't need to be Superman. Which Williams was it?
Caleb.
Pure belief.
Yeah,
Belief.
that's pretty damn good.
That's all you need. All I said was to guys, you don't need to be Superman. You don't need to go and do anything crazy. You just got to go out there and focus and do your job. And those guys looked me in the eyes and said, "We're gonna make it happen."
They did Saturday night, boy.
That's pretty damn good. I think once I learned the rules, I think I was 100%.
Yeah, you crushed it. You did a great
Right?
job.
Okay.
You know which Williams it was.
All right.
Well, Jesse,
Which light skin in Chicago said this?
Glad you said it.
It's winter too. We're extra right now.
Well, Jesse, thank you for joining us. Everyone, be sure to check out Hoops, Hopes, and Dreams. It premieres on MLK Day, Monday, January 19th, and you can check it out on Hulu and Disney+.
Yes, please. And it's only 20 minutes long. You can watch it with your whole family. And watching it early really helps other people make films and be creative. It shows that these things work in alternative storytelling. So thank you.
Thank you.
We are going to be checking
us.
it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.